sometimes if I get an older horse, I'll mess with him for quite a while, you know, just to make sure, to get him to where I can do a little bit more. I'm just going to get on my horse. Hang on to him. And you know, and I can chase him around a little bit, but if I get on my horse, I can kind of lead him off, and that'll be easier for him than me trying to drive him from the side. And it's just a little bit like I was talking about there. You can kind of see where when I'm driving him, I'm scared. Maybe Kelly, you can just come in kind of a little bit behind him. Get him moving around here a little bit. Not too much, just kind of go up a little bit easy. And there we go. Now another thing I really like about this is I can kind of manage this horse's front end, and she can kind of drive that horse up underneath me a little bit. Drive it up into the bridle. See how I can manage his front end a little bit. I can slow him down. And I'm going to go this way, and my hand will be up here. I'm going to keep him away from me a little bit. Get him to stop and maybe rock back on its hocks a little. Yeah. I want him to be a little bit aware of it. We'll do some switching directions. Well, maybe tell you can just move in right on that other side. We'll sandwich this horse right in between us. Then you put your stick on behind him and keep him driving. There you go. And it's you know, I really like doing it this way. Like I said, like right now we're working 3 horses instead of one. And I ain't wearing out my cowboy boots. Now we'll do a little bit different here. We'll try to get sandwiched together maybe, and then I'd like to kind of teach the horse to back up. But I want to also realize, you know, that we're going to do 2 things. I want him to get kind of quiet and settled, but I want him to also move out. And that's something that's important for a lot of people to realize. They work with their horse and they pet it and they pet it and they get it all settled and gentle, but then the horse doesn't know how to move out and drive. So we're going to do a little of both. We're petting it, rubbing it, but then we're going to move and we're going to teach that horse to drive a little bit too. No, I'm going to back it up a little bit. I got my hand here on the halter, and if Tella can, she can help me. We'll get this horse to kind of go in reverse a little bit. Now she can switch and we'll go forward a little bit. Let's go get a little bit more at a different angle so they can all see that. Okay, I'm going backwards. Now we're going forwards. This little horse in the middle here is just learning to follow a field. Maybe she can just side pass right in here and we'll just kind of sandwich between us a little tighter and just get to where we can rub it all over. You can do plenty of all that. Get him going forward and have his ribs go out away from me a little. Put that flag in here a little. I'll be behind the eye to get him to going. One thing that I've learned that you can do this with colts that are scared of things. So you can sack them out and do all kinds of things. But I don't know if there's anything that works better than sacking a horse out like this. This saddle horse will tolerate this kind of stuff a lot easier when there's a horse alongside of it. And they got a job. They're kind of concentrating on that. This horse is ramming into them and they're pulling on them and all that kind of stuff. And they get broke. They get really nice. And, you know, you can try to take this stuff away and you're just like sacking them out like, oh, don't mean to be critical. I'm not saying that. They don't do that. That's not the right way to do it. It's just that I've really found that a horse can tolerate stuff, you know, and they don't have to be that broke to do this. And they get broke real quick once you start. Especially a lot of cow horses, you know, that are real sensitive to things that move, and they got a lot of spunk and stuff. Well, you give them a job, and they're natural to that. That comes real natural, but just trying to tolerate that other thing, it almost seems like they're getting picked on. They're obsessed with it, like the flag or something like that. They might just be a little just obsessed with it, but if you give them a job, they get a whole different feel about it. I could be on this side and scoot them up, get them moving up here, I'll scoot them up over there, get them up over here, scoot them up over here, put this flag in front of them, get them to stop, go around this way, get them to move out. Now this flag is working pretty good with this colt here, but if it's too much, I might go like this with the stick, or I might use a different tool. Let's see if I can get him to work out a little bit further. And then, you know, those guys are just giving me a cutting horse example. Or, you know, they were cutting out there, and I'll show you how maybe I can make my own little cutting here. This horse. Okay. I just remember to come and take this saddle horse that I got kind of down to Tim. Now I don't think this horse here is going to be much of a problem getting him to move out, but sometimes colts are kind of sticky, and then it's really nice to have somebody kind of helping you. And it don't, you know, it helps to have somebody that knows what they're doing, but you know, you can even take a little kid and give them a little flag and tell them, as long as they know stop. That's about it. You know, if you get it down on the kid, you know, you can say down and stuff. Then you're just fine. You can make use of it. You know, I'll do a little bit more. I'll show you a couple things you might do. Just like step into a horse and move around like this, and you can step into them there and have them move around. I'll whack them right here in the middle a little bit to get them going. Move into there. Now I'll turn and I'll move in right here. I want to be able to push the eye a little bit. right here. Push that eye out. I'll bend a little bit here and then push the eye out right there. And then I'll push the shoulder out. Then I'll push the hip out. Then I'll push the nose and the eye. Then the neck and shoulders. And the hip. Nose. See right here, a little bit of push right there. You see it? And that's, even if I have to bump them in the face, that's not going to make the horse head shy. What makes a horse head shy is when they don't know what to do with that. All they do is go up like that. When they understand that this means to get to their feet. Anyway, this horse is so, he's been ready to ride.
Not by me.
I don't. You could get on and off a bunch of times when they're ready like this. Just go. It's going to lead me off a little bit. I got to tighten up that rein. Okay. Now, another thing that I do is when I go wave my legs to go, I'm not going to be so much on his ribs as up on that French cinch. Maybe behind the elbows a little bit, because that will kind of freeze him up and get him to might be kicking up or bucking a little bit more than if you're in the front. And I won't even do that very much. I'll use my stick or something else to get him going. I got this little stick here. I'll pull it out and start using it when I don't feel like I need to hang on. And then as far as how much I pull on him, I'm just going to pull on him just a little bit enough to kind of let him know I'm there and but no more than that. And I keep my reins short so that they're loose but they're short. You see how I got my arm reached up there? That's so that, you know, if something happens, I can just pull up on him. And as far as like cranking her head around, I'm not sure.
So, Tim, this is a dumb question,
okay.
But when do you expect them to buck? You're kind of talking about that with the shorter rein and stuff. When do you ever expect them to buck, or when do you expect them to buck?
Yeah, this horse could kind of, the way you did with the saddle there a little bit, you know, they could do that a little bit.
Is it when you first swing your leg over them, or maybe after you untrack them, or
just
kind of a feel?
Like, that's going to be different on different horses. Like, you never know what could happen. Nothing could happen, and they could just all of a sudden grab themselves. Like I like to pay attention to how they were when I saddled them, and if maybe I'll pull on the saddle horn a little bit more, rope them and pull on the saddle horn, kind of see, and scare them a little bit, and then I can kind of see how they kind of are. And you guys could see how this horse was when I saddled him. He didn't do very much. And he feels real soft right now. And some of them you can feel they're kind of wadded up in the middle, and then you got to be a little bit more careful, you know. But I haven't got this horse to loping out yet. And before that time, you know, it's possible that it could get a little, just grab himself go to bucking a little bit, but so far he feels real soft. But, you know, I'm hanging on for two reasons. One is I don't want to get bucked off, of course, and embarrass myself. But the other reason is I don't want to scare the horse. If I get unseated and I'm, you know, not up here nice and smooth, I might scare the horse. Anybody else got any questions? That was a good one from Jason. Lou, you got any questions? Oh, yeah.
I got a question. I'm just surprised you just tied on to a rope halter. No problem, huh? You didn't consider a closeout or anything?
No, okay, that's a real good question.
Hang on, Tim. Hang on. Ask that question again.
Well, I just wanted to ask, you started with just tying that lead rope around to that rope halter. It surprised me a little bit.
Okay. There's a big reason for that is he's soft to this. He's soft. This doesn't intimidate him a bit. He's used to wearing it. If you put a snaffle bit on a horse, or the Hackamore is better than a snaffle bit, and usually in the beginning, if they haven't used to one, if you've been kind of bitting them up and so on, then you can go with the snaffle bit. But I like to have less on, so you don't intimidate their face, and they don't brace against something unfamiliar. And then their feet you can lead their feet. And when you can lead their feet, then their body gets soft. I'm going to switch and go this way a little bit. All right, now I'm going to start using my little stick here, see? And like I said, I don't feel like I need to hang on anymore. And we'll go into phase 2 or 3 or wherever you think we're at here. Okay, tell them you can just kind of, whenever you want, just slow down and switch back.
I thought I ran out of battery.
There, she could come in and help me a little bit. Let's do that first, maybe, Tella. She'll move the hindquarters away for me. Then she'll switch there, and we'll do the front. That flag was kind of intimidating to her, so she used good judgment and said, well, maybe just use a little less because we're real close. Now I'm going to start using my legs now, too, because this horse can handle it. Now when she's chasing him like that, it's really nice for me because I can have both hands up here and manage this horse's face and get it kind of soft. But the horse is chasing up into the bridle. Okay, now I'll switch directions. Yeah, perfect. It's really nice to have somebody that knows what they're doing when you're having her.
Tell's probably done this once or twice.
Tell's done it a couple times. And she's got good horse sense too, you know. There's some people just got natural ability, and I gotta say, she comes by it somehow. Must have got it from her mother.
Huh? Yeah. Oh.
You know, she'll go on track. She'll be a little bit more at the hind, and now we'll do the front. We'll do a little turn right there. Now, the other thing too is, I'll just let this horse stop so I can explain this. I'm really interested in getting the horse to be freed up when he's moving. And that's a lot of the reason we're doing it this way is, you know, if you're going along and you're just trying to bang on your horse's legs and stuff, and they're not really moving out, then you're banging on them, and all they're doing is kind of bracing against you, and they're bracing against you, and they just get sluggish. And, you know, I kind of chose to, Jason and I talked about having a round pen or not having a round pen, and I chose to do it with a round pen, because I like to start horses in a round pen most of the time. But with the help of Kella, I'm not having any trouble keeping this horse being sluggish and not free enough. The other reason is this colt's breeding. This horse is just naturally soft and athletic and he's freed up kind of naturally. Some of them were more sluggish at first, you know, and they have a tendency to just kind of freeze up and so on. All right, take off. Work with you, rascal. Okay, don't stop. All right, I'm gonna head you up and go the other way. Get up there, don't be late. Jason's gonna start chewing me out. So get up there with that cow. You're too flat, or whatever you were saying. Stop. I'm going to use this stick. See, I got to get the shoulder out a little bit. Okay, stop. Get him to go a little bit. Got to use this stick for a little bit. This little stick is a fiberglass fence post. You get them at the grain growers for about $5, and you cut one in half and put a little piece of hose on the end of it, and you got it. Then I put a little saddle, a hole in my saddle horn in my saddle right there. I put that in there and I use it all the time. Okay, stop. Now maybe I'll just track you for a while. This horse might be a road horse someday. Not a lot of leg, just a little stick there to get it. I put my body in the right position. Now just see how I just sort of take a hold of a little bit, enough to get the job done, and get out of his way again. Take a hold of a little bit, get the job done, get out of the way. Director, send him. Okay, stop over there. Let me just work you on that side again. Get that shoulder over there. I don't have to change the stick necessarily to the other side of the horse. I'll use it on the shoulder over here. Then when I just kind of pull it and take it over a little bit. Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is I can use this stick here on his shoulders to go this way, and then when I go this way, I get to and just send him up from behind right there. Direct him over here, you know, and then sometimes I'll just put the stick on the other side and do the same thing over here. But see, it's got that little rubber hose on the end. It just drops into my hand, and I don't hardly ever drop it. Now I'd like to work on this horse a little bit as far as like getting him to back up a little. And I'll have Tella help me with that a little. Let's go kind of this way so we can see. And, all right. I'll kind of back up. See, he's got a reason to kind of get out of the way, and she can tap on his face or on his chest or something, wherever it works. There, he backed up a little bit. Now, I'll kind of untrack him. Okay, and walk into me, and I'm going to say, I got to get out of your way, don't I? There you go, good job. Then I'll untrack him a little bit, I'll move forward or turn him around a little or something. You know, I need a little help to go, and she can kind of, she knows just what to do, she'll help me get going. And I can stay on the horse's reins, you know. Here, I'll slow his front down a little bit more. Get him to step over. Again, I'll back up just a little bit, get him to rock back on that hind quarter. And then I'll turn and go this way, and then she'll get in front of me, and you can ride your horse right on over there. And then she'll help me go. Okay? And And she'll just stay behind me a little bit now. Okay, then I'll stop here and I'll do an inside turn. She'll help send me. And see how I'm using my legs and everything to cue with this horse. I want him to get used to my legs as soon as he can, as soon as he can handle them. I'm using less stick now. See, my job is just to kind of stay away from her. Okay, she'll get in front of me a little bit. I'll do another inside turn, and then she'll send me out. Okay, now I'll do an outside turn, and she can send me out. I'll do an outside turn. And it really helps, like the way I'm kind of narrating this. For the other person that's helping you, you just kind of say what you're going to do, and then they can read it. I'm going to do an inside turn. Let's lope out. Good. Keep it a little bit. Good. Yeah, just kind of move him up just enough to help him, but not enough to interrupt him before he doesn't do what he's doing so well there. Okay, good enough. And I'll do an outside turn. Send me off again.
Wow.
There we go.
That's good.
Keeping me going.
Cool.
Okay, and I'll do an inside turn. Send me off. Okay, good. I'll just stop right here. See how I rocked him back that little bit right there? That's kind of a big deal. And he's not like tucking his face or anything like that, but I got to his feet. And then I turned him loose. It's important that when you do things with your horses, you put your hands on or your legs on enough to get something good. But you take them away before you start doing something bad. And bad is braces. You know, and braces, what braces are is just the horse kind of pushing on you. It's like
He's like, what the hell just happened?
Brace because you held it too long. And then later on, you get to where you can pull them and pull them, and they don't brace anymore. And that's another, you know, you get asked for more and more. But you know how that commercial is. We want more. We want more. See there? I mean, I just started moving until I come in and we got this thing to free up and give it a reason to go. Alright, let's get him going a little faster. Alright, that's good. Now do an outside turn. Good. I'll do an outside turn. Ready and send him. Okay, good. I'll do an outside turn. Hold and wait. Then he's ready. Kick him and go. Okay, that's good. I'll do an inside turn. Just kind of bend him to a stop. I'll then stay right there. Balance, see, a little fast stuff, and I'll just kind of putz around and do some slower stuff. Okay, now, another little thing that's kind of good is, I'm going to let him breathe for a minute, or 30 seconds. And then I'm kind of thinking there's a trailer on the outside of this pen, and I'm just going to go into a steady walk for a little while. Okay? And tell her can kind of help me. Come on, there's a trail on the outside of the pen, and it's, you know, maybe I gotta go around the pen 3 times or something like that. We'll see how it goes. It might be more, might. You kind of want to learn both. We'll go the other way just a little bit. I'll just, come on, I just want to kind of walk. I'll hold on to it, see I'm kind of holding there, you walk back down to a walk, but then keep going. But keep going. Now what he's doing now is he's kind of what I'm getting at is he wants to drift off, and I keep bringing him back. Bring him back. It's right here. Bring him back. It's right there. And keep the leg up. As far as spurs go, personally, I don't have buckles on my spurs. They're just on my everyday boots all the time. And I start my colts with them because, like right now, I need them. They're handy for me. I can get it done with my legs, and I can keep my hands on them. I want to get used to them anyway. If you don't have spurs, it's like riding with spurs. It's like sometimes it's like riding with not enough bit. The horse will be, it's not sharp enough, so that by the time they lean on it so long that by the time you need them to get the moves, it's too late. They've already leaned on you too long, then they're late. And if it's a little bit sharper, they just come right off of it, and they go and they find the right answer, and it's like, oh, it's light for them. So you're making it easier for them by using the right equipment. And then sometimes what I got a lot of control with my spurs. There's horses I don't even touch them with them for quite a while, you know. But if you don't have that control, you might have to take them off or something. But how are we doing for time?
I think we're doing good. I think we still got a little more time, Tim.
Good.
It's been good. When do you take them? We got about 15 minutes left to go. So, I mean, if any of you have any questions, feel free to ask. Put you on the mic, or if you want to be on the mic, you can just talk out loud. When do you take them out of the round pen?
Right now. That'd be good.
Right now?
Yeah.
You want us to hoop and holler, or?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
This horse is totally in control.
Yeah, he's that asked the question. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Elizabeth asked, what if you don't have any help? I mean, that's kind of my problem too, is there's sometimes I don't have any help. What if you don't have the help and your colt's ready to get on, and I mean, you got to wait around for the neighbor to show up or coach your friend over there and offer
yeah.
What
most of the time I do it by myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you probably work by yourself quite a bit.
I do it by myself. This thing here is a great tool.
Is the encouragement, I guess, is what you're saying.
It's encouragement, but it gets them to go without, like with your legs when they're green, you put your legs on them and it balls them up. You use this little thing here, and you can get their feet to break loose without wadding them up. You know, too much leg and they wad up.
Sure. Yeah.
And but no, like I said, most of the time I do this by myself. I use the saddle horse, but you know, you can sure do it on foot. I just want, I guess, maybe Tella can be behind me for a while. Just stay a little bit further back, do a little less. Kind of direct it. Just do a little less. There you go.
He wants to come over here probably. He says, I'm done. Yeah.
Like when they get out here, he's kind of going to do this and don't work quite so much back. Just stay back and it's fine. I want this horse to stay right there where I was kind of needed to tell her to stay back just a little bit. So that's one of those examples where it'd be a little bit like, she's getting a little snotty here. But I'm going to stay up on her shoulders to get him to go, see? He's got, there you go, Jill, thanks. When I ask him to go, I'll be up here on the shoulders. And maybe if Tella can be a little bit like that too with her stick, instead of hitting him on the butt, we'll be a little bit more behind his eye. And also, just kind of let it kind of become his idea. We'll discourage him from being over there, but let him process it. Let him figure out that he kind of wants to go over here. He's kicking at me a little bit, you know. That's fine. I'll just keep doing it again, and there, he moved out. But I won't kick him back there, and I won't kick him in the ribs. It's up here. And that kicking up is just like, you know, he's going to figure out that that doesn't do any good. I don't need to discipline him for it necessarily. Because it's not, this horse isn't being aggressive. There's a difference between this and aggressive. When the horse is aggressive to me, I will do quite a bit. But this is not what that is.
Tim, we've got about 5 minutes left before we switch over to the plan.
Okay, thanks.
So if there's anybody that has any questions to ask Tim or anything, we've got our full undivided attention. We'll kind of finish up here and we'll get ready for Matt Perino race.
I got a little job here now that's fairly simple, but I can kind of keep the horse occupied with it. I'm going to put him over to this draw right there, which is all those horses. And then I'm going to send him away, but I got this round pen here. And I'll do as little as I can so he can kind of make up his mind. I don't want to distract him from his thought process, you know, very much. I want to direct him, but I don't want to take away from that thought process. For example, sometimes I'll be teaching somebody and their parent is there and they keep butting in all the time, and it distracts the kid from learning. They're doing something right, and then the parent says something and the kid's mind goes off of whatever. God, they're just about to think about something good for me, you know. So a lot of times I have to tell the parent to be quiet. But the same thing is with your horse. You know, you might do something as innocent as reach down and pet your horse, and it just took his mind off of doing something good. You know? And another thing is, along with that, like, if I'm going over to a horse or going over here or something, if this horse is getting bothered by something, I don't stop and pet my horse. Here's what you need to be doing. That there is something else. Put your mind on what you're supposed to be doing here. And I'll say, here, let's go over here, go over there. I'm not going to pet you for ignoring me.
I might add right here that Tim's kind of putting this colt in a difficult position when he comes over here. There's some people that know, Tim knows, the owner of the colt knows, but his barn buddy, his pasture buddy, is right here, over here in this corner when he comes over here. And Tim's working him through it. It's working. He's doing a great job.
It's a little bit of balance, you know. It's about him being over here where he's sticky, and then getting over here where he's unsticky. He's over here, I want him to work at this, but then I want him to go over there where things are nice and easy. If I was over here going back and forth all the time with this horse, it's like being by the barn. And they'll get too sticky right there. You know, so that's why sometimes you got to get him away from the barn and get him out of there. So he's a little bit sticky here, but then there's a relief where he doesn't have to worry so much about where to go or anything when he gets over here. And I can go over there and make things easy. He's willing to work for me over there. Now I'll stay over here for a little while, give him a mental break. Over there I got to work on him, and I'm starting, he's getting more braced and stuff. Over here he's nice and light, so I can get him kind of free up a little bit more. And it's easy for him to listen. So over here it's easy and the horse gets a break.
Well, Tim, I think our time's about up.
Okay.
If there's anything else you want to finish up on, or anybody has any questions or anything, right now it's time to ask Tim. He's an excellent hand and a great hand, and I'm sure gracious that he, donated his time to come up here and help us and put on this clinic. And I got some people that have rode with him and rode in his clinics, and they have a blast and they have a lot of fun. And I suggest if you get a chance to go ride with Tim and get his help. And he's a world of knowledge and been doing this for a long time. And he's a great hand. So let's give a big round of applause for Tim. And I guess we can't forget his wonderful daughter, Chantel.
Yay!
Well, I appreciate that a lot, Jason. I'm sorry you said it first, because I had something I had planned not to say, but you complimented me first. But I really appreciate Jason putting this deal together, because I think a lot of people need to see a bunch of horses together, and we're all going to benefit from this, and it's going to be fun. And you know, Jason put a lot of work into it, and I'll tell you, you know, it's just the first day, but I'm pretty excited about it, and I hope we get to do it every year for a while. Good job, Jason.
Thank you, thank you. That's what this Big Bang was designed for, was to promote the horses, promote the horse industry, and to show everybody, kind of give them a taste of everything that's going on, and let's get this thing jump started. So our next thing